Pastor Denman, welcome to Honor Cafe Hall of Heroes.
All right, thank you.
We just had a good breakfast, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. My cup running over.
Yeah. And what church do you pastor?
The Temple of Faith Non-Denominational Church at 330 Silverdale Drive, Conroe, Texas.
And I heard Duke was there this Sunday, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was speaking a little bit.
Yeah, Duke came in.
That's awesome. And this is your home, Conroe?
Home.
Wow.
Born and raised here.
And you graduated high school here, everything?
Graduated Booker T. Washington High School, 1967.
That's neat. This is an amazing place, Honor Cafe, and it's an amazing community. And people like you, I guess that's what makes it amazing.
Thank you.
So, when did you enter service?
1969. March 4th, 1969.
How did that happen?
They had the draft then. I got drafted. I dropped out of college and was working, and when it looked like everything was moving my way, I had to go the military way. They drafted me.
You weren't happy about that, were you?
I was very upset.
What branch of service?
Army.
And what was your job?
Well, I was infantryman, but when I got to Vietnam, an army unit had lost a lot of men, so they shipped us over to the 11th Armored Cavalry, which was good because we was riding instead of walking.
Where did you end up in Vietnam?
Well, I was stationed in Zion. That's between Bien Hoa and Saigon. And we started working Quan Loy. We worked real north toward Bodoc. And we were the first unit to go to the Cameron by land.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was it tanks and armor personnel characters?
Yeah, tanks.
Those old armor personnel characters. They wouldn't really stop much of a bullet though. They had pretty thin wall.
Yeah.
I mean, they was a little bit better than being out in the open though, right?
Oh yeah. We had 50 caliber mounted in the middle and 260 machine guns on each side.
When did you see your first action?
Well, my first action after about they was having a report that the troop came in and stayed for about a month. Then we went out. And so I was riding my gun, and all the tanks stopped, and I saw the wheels shaking, and I said, "What is that?" It was shaking, so I got out, got ready to fire, and then I saw some bushy things sticking up, and I looked, I said, "What is that?" It was a big brown bear. Stood up to him like he was almost 7 foot tall. And I told my buddy, I said, "John, that's a bear." He said, "Shoot him, fool." So that was my first little piece of contact there. And you think a bear can't run, they can run.
Yeah, they can.
Once I started walking my rounds up on him, they told me to cease fire, because if I hit him and don't kill him, then he'll start attacking the villagers.
Yeah.
So that was my first little accident.
Tell us about what happened after the bear. What was it? What went on after the bear?
Well, after the bear, I was pulling guard, and it get night over there.
Yeah.
You can't see your hand in front of your face.
Yeah.
And then it was raining. That's the monsoon season, with their winter time. Lightning was popping, and I'm sitting on a metal tank, scared to death. And then, you set out trip flares around your perimeter in case somebody try to enter, trip it and it go off until you know where to shoot. And a limb, what had happened, a limb got hit by lightning and fell on the trip flare. And it went off. And I started shooting, and the guy always said, a guy that sleeps under the cupola, to wake him up if you can. And them hot shells was hitting him.
He woke up.
So he woke up. So it was a challenging then.
Yeah.
But you kind of grow into it. It's just like a job. You kind of learn it, and then later on you just, as I say, might be cool with different things that happen.
Yeah. You said you hated it, but it changed your life, right?
Yeah, it did.
What's the most significant way it changed your life?
Well, it basically changed it for the worst. I think it made me kind of out of a, I wouldn't say meaner person, but I guess more temperamental, edgy. I think it was the PTSD was working. We didn't know nothing about that, but
Yeah.
but then I know when I got back, my wife, she said, you kind of different, you know, you ain't as quite as sweet and nice as you used to be. But I got beyond that. I got beyond that time away from the war and everything, and kind of settled back, became the person I think I basically kind of used to be.
Yeah. What was it? I know it's hard to talk about, but when you first time you took casualties and that kind of sunk in, what was going through your mind at that point?
Really, just survival. The part that I remember the most, we went out on ambush patrol, and we spotted I guess, but some BCs. They had set up tent perimeter, had their clothes hanging, and the sergeant said to get down. We backed up, got down, ready to fire, and then he told ceasefire, back off. So he called in mortar rounds. Well, the mortar rounds went way over the target, and so I always remember he said left 300, drop 150. But that's what he should have said. But he said left 150, drop 300.
Oh yeah.
Got it backwards, and some told me just he told us to spread out. So I said, this guy don't know what he's doing. There's something ain't right. So it was our own mortars. When I heard it come out of the tube, I started to run. And I said, oh, what you running for? When I did that and stopped, the round hit right in the midst of all of us. Blew one guy just to shreds, and knocked a big hole in one guy's stomach. And I got shrapnel in the neck. Other guys got a whole lot of shrapnel. And then I learned then when a mortar round lands, it throws all the shrapnel backwards, because most of the time they overshoot the target.
Yeah.
If they overshoot the target, it'll come back and kill them. So I when it hit, the fire and smoke, I just took on off running.
Did you how long were you in the hospital after you got shrapnel?
Oh, I didn't even go to the hospital.
Kidding me?
Well, I was in the hospital, just a few pieces of neck was bleeding.
Yeah.
You put a Band-Aid on it and stayed out there.
What did the BC do when that started to hit?
I don't know.
You don't know, 'cause you got knocked down.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did, but I know what I did. But anyway, when I got back, a guy was on the ground, blood was, everywhere, and he was howling, and then there wasn't nothing you could do to help him. You're not a doctor. All you can say is be all right. And over there they have those large ants. Ants are big. They nest in trees like wasps, and them ants was coming to that blood, and it's biting. It's just horrible. It's really horrible. So it kind of, I don't know. I guess I'd say lock me in a killer mode. So it's either kill or be killed.
Yeah.
So I rolled with that, live with that mentality.
Were you on patrol pretty often when you were over there?
No, most of the time we just riffed through the jungle, tanks.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if they wasn't dug in, and you see where they be dug in the ground, if they wasn't dug in, they didn't bother us too much. They'd shoot a little sniper fire, but they knew we had them big main guns.
Yeah.
So when we went into it, they was well prepared for us.
Yeah.
So, but mostly it was a little of that, but mostly a lot of sniper fire and stuff like that. They'd sit claymore mines and trees. One guy said got his head blowed off, and after I heard that, I spent a lot of my time riding looking up. Yeah, riding looking up. So it was challenging, and it just was an experience beyond experiences, especially learning how to. I stayed in the jungle. That's what we call it, in the jungle, for like 10 months, living in that APC.
Yeah.
And you bathe when. I guess let's see if I can count the baths I had over there. Let's see. Out in the jungle, probably about No more than about 10.
Yeah.
10 baths in to about 10 months. We average one a month.
Yeah. That's
And
rough.
then you get jungle rot,
Yeah.
itching toes. It was war.
Yeah.
It was war.
When you got back, originally you said, you thought it wrecked your life, but then, some things changed and you get back and there was opportunity because you probably had other plans and you got back. What happened then?
Well, basically, I came back and then I went to work for the Postal Service. I worked at the Postal Service for 28 years. And the last probably 5 years or 6, I got saved. And later on, God called me to preach. I started preaching. And later on, I started pastoring the church. I started a church myself. I started it myself, just me and my wife. And from there, a while went by. The Lord told me to quit my job. I said, oh no, I don't have but 5 years left to retire. And the Lord didn't say anything. He just told me one time, quit your job. So eventually, I came to the right conclusion, to obey God, quit my job. And at that time, you didn't get all your retirement. If you quit, they give you just half of it. So we was basically at a financial deficit, Yeah. But I just trusted God, and God did what His word said. He said He'll supply you every need, and God was able to do that.
Yeah.
And from there, I just moved on. My temperament got better, and I just went on with God's work.
Well, your wife, she stuck it out through some hard times then, didn't
Yeah, she saw a difference in me from Vietnam back here before I left,
Yeah.
It put it just, I was a little sweeter before I left.
Yeah.
And then after I came back, because like I say, it's probably the PTSD. I thought I was doing good, but.
She was probably praying for you as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Had to. Had to.
So you have a church now, and you're pastoring, and so what do you see God calling you to continue this, or do you see anything new on the horizon?
Well, basically what I see, I think at the end of my pastoralship, but I asked the Lord a while back, a month or so, a couple months ago, I said, well, I'm getting up in age now, I'm 75, and I may not be able to pastor so long. And the Lord told me, He said, that's my business. That's what He asked me, He said, that's my business. So you do what you do, I'll tell you what to do and when to do it.
When you look back now and over your life, and you think about, going to ward as a young man, you look back and remember times when He saved your life?
What?
I mean, specific times when the Lord was like He had a plan for you, and like He was protecting you.
Oh yeah, He protected me. When I look back, when I was telling you about the explosion,
Yeah.
I was right there in the middle.
Yeah.
I was right there in the middle. And all I got was a little shrapnel in the neck, which was a small amount from a guy getting a hole in him, another guy getting blown to shreds. You couldn't see no parts of him.
Yeah.
They didn't have nothing to send back.
Yeah.
Motor around hit right on him, wasn't nothing to send back.
Yeah.
And so after coming back, I know it was preordained by God, as the word says, for me to preach the gospel.
Yeah.
But God's plan come by faith. See, if I'd known what I know now, then I've been standing up on the tank. You can't kill me, because God ordained me to preach. I'm gonna have to preach when I get back to Conroe.
Yeah.
But you can preach with no arms.
Yeah.
You can preach with no legs, huh?
Yeah.
So that's why it's a faith journey, and that perfects the will of God for your life when you walk by faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So when you look back, after Vietnam, what you've done, when you talk to people that are veterans or young men, what are some of the things that you say to them that God has given you throughout your life, especially when they're struggling? We have a lot of struggling vets up here. Yeah.
Well, I tell them, I try to convince them to give their life to Christ.
Yeah.
And then once you give your life to Christ, it's by faith, you find the will of God for your life.
Yeah.
Now my plans before I got saved, I was a real good golfer.
Yeah.
And I used to gamble a lot, make a lot of money golfing, playing golf. So my plan was I was going to retire, my wife and I together.
Yeah.
We was going to buy a Winnebago and just travel. And I said I was going to try to hopefully improve my game to the point where I could play on the senior tour.
Yeah.
I said it wouldn't make no difference whether I won or not. I just wanted to play. But God, with getting saved, it turned all that another direction.
Yeah.
So I haven't experienced none of that I had planned.
Yeah.
Because my plans wasn't God's plan.
Yeah.
So now I'm just doing God's will. I find more joy and peace. It wasn't always like that, especially pastoring, dealing with people. It was kind of like a little tug of war, you know.
Yeah.
But as you grow and God take you through different situations and bring you out, you learn just to trust Him and work. One time at age 50, my blood pressure was high. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me, he said, well, Reverend, I'm not going to put you on any medication now. So just kind of monitor it. And come back in a week or so. So anyway, when leaving the doctor, the Lord told me, he said, Denman, the church is mine. I said, huh? He said, the church is mine. I said, oh, I got it. I was worrying about the church. You know, you're worrying about something that don't belong to you. So I snapped at it. My blood pressure got right. I didn't go back. I started blood pressure pills. I was almost 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's amazing, amazing God. And
yeah.
You know, it's just sad when you see people that won't accept Him. It's just like a good cake or a good pie. You just don't know what you're missing.
That's right.
Yeah, you don't know what you're missing, and that's it, man. My wife and I, we just have a grand, just float.
Yep.
Just float in Him, and let our light shine before men, that they may see our good works and glorify the Father in heaven. So that's the way I move, you know.
Well, Pastor, thank you for being on our Cafe Hall of Heroes, and welcome home.
All right, thank you.
And it's always a pleasure, you know, having breakfast with you every Saturday and finally hear your story.
Okay.
God bless you.
All right, thank you.